you notice they don't expand on that life-saving aspect, right? When you have $250,000 of taxpayer dollars, at least emphasize where that money's going, because that is no small amount of money. How about taking that money and putting it towards maybe, I don't know, armed security in those schools, because you have the same party that's pushing this kind of stuff out there in a leftist-dominated, Democrat-dominated state, complaining about guns and all those other things, but yet they're giving $250,000 to a school for drag queen events. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, folks, you can see it on your screen. I haven't even read the article yet. I just said, look, we got to do a show on this. New York City shells out $200,000 in taxpayer dollars to bring drag performers to public schools. This is real. I couldn't believe it. Totally baffled. Before we jump into this one, as always, if you want to join us here at the Bald Brad Show, or heck, support a conservative, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. With that being said, this is written by Wallace. Let me just get my thoughts together here. Again, this is a real-time reaction. I have not read this. New York City shelled out more than $200,000 in taxpayer funding in the past 5 years. It's supposed to be going all to kids, folks, to make their education better. But no, it was to have drag queens come into classrooms and interact with school children as young as 3. This is so mind-blowing. It is so wrong. Folks, if you're a frequent viewer of the Bald Brad Show, you know how I feel about all this. It's no secret. This is wrong. It's disgusting. It's inappropriate. But hey, you know what? New York City's ran by the left. It's ran by the Democrat Party in the same way California is. And this is how they want to spend their taxpayer dollars. Look, the taxpayers themselves want to pay for it, clearly, because they keep putting in these politicians and all these people to let this stuff go through. The nonprofit Drag Story Hour New York City, previously known as Drag Queen Story Hour NYC, received approximately $207,000 in taxpayer funding since 2018, the New York Post reported, citing city records. The total includes a $50,000 contribution from New York State through its Council on the Arts, along with $157,000 earmarked from New York City's Department of Education, Cultural Affairs, Youth and Community Development, and even from the Department of Transportation, according to the Post. You got to get them there somehow, folks. You got to bust them in with Greyhounds or wherever the hell they're coming from. Records show that the nonprofit received $46,000 from city contracts for appearances at public schools, street festivals, and libraries in May alone, ahead of Pride Month. I mean, folks, this is so crazy. Let me know down in the comments right now what you think about this, because my mind is blown. I mean, the stories that we've at least covered on the show comes from Libs at TikTok and other outlets where these drags performers, if that's what we're calling them, are invited to these campuses, not necessarily paid. We have seen clips of children and other people giving them tips, but paying them with taxpayer dollars is a new one for me. But hey, you know what? The left is always crossing that line and doing something crazy. The events involve cross-dressed drag performers reading to school children at public schools, libraries, and other LGBTQ centers, but has expanded to also include coloring activities. Wasn't that just fun, folks? Isn't the stuff that you want your children to be doing in school rather than learning reading, arithmetic, all those things? But no, this is how they're indoctrinating our children within the schools now, and those kids will grow up and indoctrinate more people, and you'll just have a trickle-down effect, and pretty soon everybody's going to be LGBTQ+. Photos show drag performers also instructing children in classrooms how to apply drag makeup. According to a reading list from the nonprofit shared online, performers read a variety of books ranging from classics like The Very Hungry Caterpillar and The Rainbow Fish, which discuss topics like growth, acceptance, and diversity, to others that more overtly discuss gender identity, such as The Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish, 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 and the Dragtivity book. I mean, folks, this is wild, and it's out of control, and the only way to stop it is a few things. Parents need to rise up, because if they don't, this is just going to continually go. And at the voting booth, you got to stop electing these officials to go in that are just going to support all this stuff. And this even goes with the education board members and all of that. Parents need to rise up, and clearly they're not doing enough then, because this is just continually to go, where now they're literally funding this thing. According to its website, Drag Story Hour NYC, so far this year has produced 49 Drag Story Hour programs for 34 individual public schools and special needs schools in English, Spanish, and Cantonese. Just trying to make sure they cover all the spectrums here in all the languages, but 34 individual public schools. The question is which are those schools? How much funding went to those schools? Which classrooms implemented those? To see which teachers implemented that, because is it just a regular teacher that was forced by the district or forced by the administration to show it in their classes? Is it being shown in English classes? Is it being shown in foreign language? What classes is it being shown in? And I'd be curious to see if it's those activist teachers that we've seen a lot on Libs of TikTok that are pushing this, that are recommending it, and having that funding come again from the taxpayers. It costs us $600 to produce each DHS program, but we only charge public schools $300 per program. We're giving them a discount because we're doing them a service, folks. We're inculcating those values of how to be drag and be part of the LGBTQ plus community, how to put on the makeup and how to get all these enhancements done, all this stuff. We'll give them a discount, 50%. Why not? We offer a limited number of free programs for schools that can't afford the fee, according to the website, which asks for donations. Quote, last year, we received almost $4,000 from the NYC Department of Education to subsidize our free and low-cost programs in public schools. This year, we didn't receive that funding and had to stop offering programs at our subsidized rate toward the end of the school year. This Pride Month, we're aiming to raise $6,000 so we can continue to provide free and low-cost programs for public school this fall, or in other words, just free, low-cost indoctrination camps. That's really what they want to do here. Some parents who spoke to the Post said they were given advance notice about the drag events at their children's schools, but were not given an option to opt out, while other parents said they were given no advance notice at all and only learned about the events afterwards. Reached out by the Post, the New York City Department of Education defended the program as life-saving. Crazy, right? I mean, if you kind of look at the rates of suicide within that community, if you want to look at the trans community, LGBT plus, it's crazy. It's not even close to the general population, but hey, they're saving lives here in some way, shape, or form. You notice they don't expand on that life-saving aspect, right? When you have $250,000 of taxpayer dollars, at least emphasize where that money's going, because that is no small amount of money. How about taking that money and putting it towards maybe, I don't know, armed security in those schools, because you have the same party that's pushing this kind of stuff out there in a leftist dominated, Democrat dominated state, complaining about guns and all those other things, but yet they're giving $250,000 to a school for drag queen events or to schools. But they don't want to pay for armed security. They don't want to pay for upgrading their schools to make sure they're safe for the children, but they're saving lives here with drag queens going on. Explain that one to me. Unbelievable. Last year, 50 transgender or gender non-conforming people were killed in the United States due to their identity. 50 transgender out of 350 million people. I don't know what the percentage of that is. Now, I feel bad that 50 people did have to die. How they died, I'm not too sure. What was the actual crimes that were committed? Were these 50 transgender or non-gender conforming people killed? Meaning, like, was that suicide? I mean, what exactly is that? What's the word I'm looking for? The specifics of it, because just to throw out, well, 50 transgender people died. That's terrible, regardless of what happened, but just not to be specific. But that's typical of these Democrats, to just throw out a bunch of random stuff that's generalized and say, oh, well, look at this. So again, 50 out of a population of 350 million people. I don't even know what the percentage on that, but 0.010% maybe. I have no idea. Well, there you have it, folks. New York City is shelling out $200,000 plus in taxpayer dollars to bring drag performers to public schools. This is how the Democrats want to spend your money. But hey, you know what? People continue to vote for them in office. Joe Biden wants to have another term after. We don't know who the hell is going to support him, because even AOC came out and said, I don't know. I don't think so. Who the heck knows, folks? Thank you so much for joining me today on the Bald Brad Show. If you enjoy the show and you want to support us, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, I will see you later here on the Bald Brad Show.